Well, obviously, a panel discussion is not the place to present data. I've done that in my papers and in the extensive interviews. That said, I've actually repeatedly reached out to both Congress and op party figures trying to get greater engagement because, the message I've been giving is something that obviously has been politicized in India, and BJP people have been very eager to get this message out. But I tell people on the Congress side that this vilification of India in the international statistics existed well before 2014, and it will persist if Congress or OP or some other party were to win the elections in 2024. This is an India problem. It's not a BJP issue. And I invite Mr. Saws to reach out. All of my contact information is open. I'd really like to have that fuller discussion, to have more data, to have these conversations.
Fair enough, so I'm glad I got the two of you together on the same platform for data and for more analysis on that. But Ambassador Sajjanhar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi refers to India as a force for global good. And he gives the instance that you spoke of, vaccine Maitri. But what do you make of the response overseas and the criticism that comes India's way on the aspect, whether it's of democracy or freedom of media and expression?
I think, meaning I would tend to go with Professor Babonis when he says that all these, indicators, etc., they are extremely subjective. I've also had a look at them. And, so the language that goes into, when they come out with these reports is very, very loaded. It's very, very biased. They don't come out, there's no transparency as to how these particular, indicators are arrived at, what is done. It is, they just come and they say, so there is, and it is done, I think, in a very ham-handed manner. There is no professionalism that I can see, particularly as far as this media thing is concerned. But if you give me half a minute, Gaurav, because what Mr. Soos mentioned about the economy, I think that one point the Prime Minister also mentioned, it is both the IMF and the World Bank who have said that India is the one ray of hope today in otherwise a gloomy environment worldwide. The second data that I would like to give him, since he's, he said he's an economist and he's keen on data, is that the managing director of the UNDP has just said that 455 million people in India have been brought out of poverty over the last 15 years. And most of them, the rate of removal from poverty has been much faster since 2014 than it was earlier. So this is data for you, Mr. Soos. And I would be very happy to provide that particular information, that particular quote from the UNDP. And, even during 2021, during the pandemic time also, things have not, we might have gone down minus 6.8% our GDP, but we have recovered more than fully after that. Okay, since you mentioned about journalists in Kashmir, Syed Zafar Islam, you want to quickly respond to that aspect about, journalists in Kashmir not being free, as Salman Soos put it?
We don't have a lot of data about that. We do have data on...
I don't know why... I don't know why he's making this kind of statement, which is factually incorrect. I was there in Kashmir for almost 2 months when there was election a year ago. And a lot of people, a lot of journalists, we interacted, but nobody had this kind of an allegation to make what he is making. It's a disturbed state, I understand. And people who are responsible to make it a disturbed state is Salman Soos' father and many other leaders of the valley. And today, everybody is suffering because of their policy and what policy they had adopted way back in 1986 or 87. So they are victim of that policy you have followed. But today, they are feeling at least
I've run out of time, but since you've leveled a direct allegation at Professor Saifuddin Soos, at Salman's father, Salman Soos, you have 30 seconds, sir.
No, I'm saying that, but let me just complete. Let me just complete. All I'm saying that when you evaluate a democracy, when you evaluate a democracy, you also see the parameters, two prominent parameters: fairness and equality. I think the governance model of our government under the leadership of Modi Prime Minister Modi, that we follow very strongly the governance model which believes in fairness and equality. That's why all the welfare scheme which is run by the government goes to everyone without any bias.
Fair enough.
And that suggests that it's a very
Salman, so
healthy
quickly,
democracy, unlike people are making this kind of allegations.
I will, I will not dignify what Zafar Islam says about my father. For example, my father can defend himself, but I can say that, by the way, that if there were more decent people like my father, India would be in a much better position. But as far as Mr. Islam's favorite politician is concerned, it is the same Prime Minister and Home Minister who basically arrested the entire leadership of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right now, sir, I've run out of time completely, but we will have you back on the show. We will have you back on the show.